Welcome, dear viewers, to your favorite show, Imagination Station, where we take you to different stories and learn about different things in a fun, engaging, and encouraging way.
You know, guys, every time you hear a story, you learn new things, you go to new places, and you just come back to where you were before, a little more stuffed up with knowledge and experience.
And don't forget, Imagination Station is a program that you can learn everything in. And not just learn about stories, about different things too.
Yes.
Books divide your sorrow and multiply your happiness, and let's just say it just completely fills you with curiosity.
Dive with us into amazing tales.
Tales that encourage you, inspire you. And today's tale is also different. It's about the art of resilience. Have you heard that term before? Resilience.
Resilience?
You know, when you keep stretching a rubber band, you just keep going back because I will not leave my space. This is my place.
Yeah.
That
So
kind of
Could be.
resilience?
you said Brazilians, right?
Resilience.
Resilience, okay.
Brazil?
So I thought it's
You're thinking
Brazilian.
about football.
Resilience is the art of bouncing back whenever we have an obstacle in our life. As you know, our life is not only one straight line, right? It could be twist and turn. There could be random roads that we can take to reach our goal.
Sometimes you don't even have a road and you just have to go through bushes to get to the next road.
Yes.
You gotta jump, you gotta hop, you gotta swim. You gotta be an Olympic champion.
You have to create your own way sometimes, right?
Yeah.
So that's the art of resilience. It's very important in our life. You know why? Because in our life, as a human, we face many obstacles, we face many storms. We could face a storm, we could be in the storm, or we could be just get outside of the storm. So storm is part of our life. Some people accept the storm and some people resist the storm. And today, the hero of our story, her name is
It's me.
Rahma.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say it's me.
Maybe you're gonna be the hero of our next story, right?
Yes, maybe. Me
So-
at that time.
What is the name of the boy?
But today,
Hassan.
but he usually the hero of our show. Like all of you are the hero of our show.
Oh, I am the hero of the show.
Okay, let's see.
Now he's not being resilient. Okay. So our story started with Rahma. She's a mother that lives in a village, in a very poor village. Recently, Rahma's father died, and then after like a couple of months, her grandpa died as well. And now her son, her only son, has some extreme illness. And within a couple of days, the doctor told her like, hey, the illness that he has is very extreme. He might die as well. She was so frustrated and so angry and impatient, trying to solve her own son, her own child. She tried everything, but suddenly, after like 2 days, her son has passed away.
Oh,
She became
such
very,
a sad beginning.
Yeah.
I know.
she became very sad. She tried to do something. She went even like out of her mind. She tried to do something. She knocked on the door of her neighbor to like, hey, do you know someone who can help my child? And then she knocked on the door of other neighbor to like, hey, my child has passed away. Is there anybody can help him? Then they told her, there's a wise guy, okay, there's a wise man in the end of the village. He lives solely, he lives alone. Maybe he have some medicine for your son that can revive him. So she rushed to him very quickly, knocked on his door, and with tears on her face, they're like, hey, please, can you help my only son, my only child? He told, yes, I can help him, but I need you to do something. She said, anything, I'm willing to do anything. And before I told you what he required from her, who can
Let's
draw
see.
a question?
So, what's the story's name again?
The story name, Acceptance, the art of resilience.
I am gonna be very modest today and accept to take the chin out of the box.
Very nice.
Let's see.
How modest.
Thank you. I got a paper.
Let's see.
We already took this question. Okay, yeah, I got it. Oops, okay. When was the last time you were independent?
Or when the last time you were resilient?
Yes. Okay, independent and resilient.
Okay, fair enough.
So why don't you answer it
yeah.
first? When was the last time I was independent or resilient? Okay,
So, you know, I didn't know how to swim before, and I just learned recently. So I didn't like the water. I used to be like really scared to put my head underwater and all that. But then slowly I decided that, okay, whatever happens, nothing's gonna happen. So even the maximum that can happen is I'm gonna drown, but no one's gonna let me drown. So why not just do it? So I was like, here goes nothing, and I just got into water. So I guess part of that, mind you, I got really frightened at that. After that, I didn't get into water for a long time.
Okay.
But then soon, with a lot of encouragement and all that, I started getting back into water, and I'm a good swimmer now, I would say.
Getting back. She's being resilient. Very nice.
I was like just getting into water, and the water bounces me back out, and I keep jumping in. Finally, I just refused to allow the water to bounce me back.
Okay.
Well, actually, for me, it was at first I was really little and I had to learn how to read. At first, I was resilient not to learn how to read because I thought, okay, now my parents aren't gonna read to me anymore. But then I started bargaining with them. Okay, I read 1 page, you guys read for me 2 pages. So then when I did that, I realized, oh my gosh, I understand everything so much better when I read it myself. But now my parents say that I read too much, and now I'm resilient to read more books.
You're a good negotiator.
Well, actually, the last time I was independent and resilient was that I didn't know why we had to take French in school.
Okay.
So I was like, we're not gonna need it. But after I learned that, let's say I went to French, how do I speak to them? And they'll be more happy if they see a stranger talking in their language.
Nice.
Yeah, it will actually make them.
But you actually have to know what you're saying. If you're saying some random thing, like I'm going to lead you all right now, so tell your leader to get out of the way, then they'll beat you up.
Yeah.
They'll be really mad at you.
It depends. You have to learn the language really well.
You have to know what you're saying.
What about you, Hassan?
Okay, so I'll talk about the time I tried swimming in the beach for the first time.
Uh-huh.
So I didn't even know how to swim before this. So I just went in this, not in the deep water, like where it like reached all the way to like my chest.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I decided to go to my cousins that are in the very deep zone. I started drowning. I went under the water. I was like, I was signaling for help. My older cousin came and carried me out of the water. Then I just decided to go to the pool since it's much better.
And
nice.
there's a lifeguard.
Like, it's good to be resilient, but we also need to know our limits, right?
You have to be careful.
Yes. So back to the story. When Rahma asked the wise man what she can do to bring her son back, he told her, I want you to bring a mustard seed. Very simple, right?
Yeah.
Just bring a mustard seed, but under one condition. You have to bring the mustard seed from a family that didn't have anyone from their members passed away. And she didn't thought about it. She just rushed very hard, very quickly to each door, knocking on their door. Like, hey, do you have a mustard seed? They said yes. And then she told them, like, do you have any one of your members died? And then they said yes, unfortunately. So she cannot take the mustard seed. She went to a different door and also like asked the same question and the same condition. They told her, yeah, we have mustard seed, but unfortunately, we cannot fulfill the last condition that you have. We have someone passed away, someone close. She'd go to a different door as well. Someone they lost, sister, brother, family member, like they always have someone they have lost or passed away. And then she realized what she's asking for is something inevitable because death is a part of our life, right? It's like the storm that's coming in our daily life. We cannot wish a life without a storm. We need to know how we can adjust with the storm. And with my question, how can you gain resilience?
Wait,
What you can do? Yes.
Can I say something?
Sure.
Well, you know, she could have asked the wise man because maybe he has the stone and maybe he didn't have anybody passed away yet.
Do you think that's even possible?
Exactly. We all come from, altogether, if you see, we all come from a single family. So
Yeah.
whoever dies is part of our
Everyone
family.
will have some distant relation who would have died.
You know, there's a saying that everyone in the world is my brother and sister.
Oh yeah.
Everyone in the world.
So what do you think like the moral of the story was? What's the wise man trying to teach
I
her?
think it's that even if someone dies, it's sort of like what you said, it's a storm. But then, and when a storm comes, rain, thunder and all comes with it, you feel really bad, you feel really scared if you get totally wet. But then in time, the sunshine will come, you'll feel dry and happiness comes with it.
Yes.
So the pain just passes away with time and they're just a happy memory. You should fill up that hole.
Well,
Yes,
I
I
think
totally-
Maybe that nothing's gonna stay to you in life. So if they say you're gonna go, and if they go, you're gonna stay. So nothing is gonna.
Nothing is permanent, right?
Yeah.
yeah. Well,
They-
I
Yeah, go
you
ahead.
can go first.
Okay. They say that
No, you're supposed to say you can go. Why did you say
Go
that to
ahead.
Rtad but not me?
For a minute, you were about to be resilient, you know?
Well, I think what the old man was trying to say, well, it's time to let the past go away and think about the future.
Very nice.
They
Great
say
lesson.
they say that every dark cloud has a silver lining, or every silver cloud has a dark lining. You take it in either way. Sometimes you just have to face with things.
Yeah.
You can't just, they say you can move a mountain, but if you look at it practically, is it really possible to move a mountain? It's not. We can.
A toy mountain.
But sometimes it's just not possible. We have to bear with it. And in time, that silver lining will also come on that
You
cloud.
have to take the good with the bad.
Yes.
Yeah.
Or you have to take the bad with the good.
Yeah.
You can look at it either way.
Yes.
And sometimes we cannot maybe move a mountain, but we can strengthen ourselves to climb the mountain, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Which means adjusting with the different circumstances.
Yes.
When you have a hard day, don't call it a hard day, but say a character building day. That's gonna give you different perspective.
Yeah, it's gonna make you stronger that you can face it next time.
Call it a day that was better than a day worse, but then could have been better.
Hey, call it a day means to stop. So what do you guys say we take a break?
And now, my dear viewers, before we end our segment for today, what is the most thing that you have done that show resilience in your life? Until next time, stay resilient.
We fainted. Hey, Brain, are you all right? We're wounded. Don't panic. I'm fine. It's just that I'm a little cold and hot and dizzy. Bye.
Bonn resident Peter Gruber wanted to get rich and decided to rob the art museum. As Peter was fleeing from the security guards, he abruptly turned a corner and collided with the statue's sword. The statue was named Weapon of Justice.
We're all gonna die! The sword missed me, so we'll live. For a while. Guess I'm okay too. We're okay too. Missed us by an inch. Hurry! We gotta wake up the brain! We're doing all we can. What's this pounding? It's me, you idiots! I'm still going! But we're bleeding. If we lose more than 20%, we're dead! We gotta stop the bleeding. Now it's even worse! What do we do without the brain?
So hello dear friends and welcome back. And today we have a really special guest with us, and hello, I'm so glad to meet you and I have so many questions, so why don't you introduce yourself to our viewers?
It's my pleasure to be with you guys. I'm Hadil Mtawa. I'm a clinical dietitian specialized in eating disorder, and today's episode is very special because this is the first time I'm being interviewed by girls at your age, and I want to see your perspective in nutrition and see your questions and your interests, and I'm all here for the answers.
Okay, so can I ask you a question?
Yes, of course, go ahead.
Okay, so my question is like, now Ramadan is going on, and generally in Kuwait people tend to drink a lot of tea and coffee, and being it is Ramadan right now, I think the intake of coffee and tea has only increased. So do you think that's a good thing or a bad thing?
I love this question. Me, myself, I love drinking coffee and tea, but I know the right way of drinking it. So first thing is after your meal, especially in Ramadan, like don't drink tea after futur immediately. Give it some time because the absorption of iron from your meal, like if let's say you ate a good meal filled with iron and you drank coffee or tea directly after it, the absorption of the iron from that meal is going to decrease. So give it at least 1 to 2 hours after the meal to have your coffee and tea, and don't exceed the daily intake.
Okay.
Make sure you don't exceed like 300 mg caffeine per day. Number 2. Number 3, it's about the moderation. You can enjoy a good tea, a good coffee. It's about the moderation. And number 4, which is the last and most important one, is don't increase your calories intake from coffee and tea. Let's say some people love adding with their tea a lot of sugar. Some people love having Spanish latte, which has a lot of sugar. So have it in the better way. Like instead of having iced Spanish latte, you can have iced skinny latte, which is like skim milk, sugar-free syrups, or honey even. At least you can get benefits of that. Instead of having tea with milk and extra sugar, you can have tea with skim milk and no sugar. So it's also about the way you have the coffee and tea. And I hope that answered your question.
Yeah.
Well, actually, I think my dad has to see this episode because
everyone, even my family has to see this episode. After futur, immediately they drink their tea. They don't give it a moment.
To almost everyone, because during Ramadan, I think people just tend to drink tea a lot because drinking tea is almost like a habit.
Yes, it is. And also they run to the tea, like they don't give themselves time. Like in my house, after they have futur, automatically the tea is ready, automatically the Arabic coffee is ready. So I usually I get it because everyone runs after futur to their coffee and tea, but I usually have my coffee and tea 1 hour, 2 hours later, and then I enjoy it and have a good one that I enjoy and have it in moderation.
You know, in Ramadan, the most popular food that I think has to be on the table in every house, which is the sambusa and those things, right?
Yeah.
So some people immediately after they eat the dates or before they eat the dates, they just go on those stuff. Is this good or is it bad because, it's an oil? So
I love this question. So in one of our episodes with you guys, we spoke about how starting your futur off with unhealthy things that will raise your blood glucose levels will affect your entire day, will affect your entire decisions for the entire day. Let's say you break your fast with sambusa, which is high in carbs, high in oil, deeply fried. That will make your decisions for the entire day. All day you'll be craving sugars, all day you'll be craving carbs, all day you'll be craving simple carbs like bread, rice, sugar, chocolate, sweets. But if you break your fast with proper fiber, proper vegetables, good protein, high enough protein, and then have 2 or 3 sambusa, it will change your entire day. It will change your entire feeling, this feeling you get after eating a big meal?
Yeah.
It's gonna go. If you do it in that order and if you do it in that way, you're not gonna feel fatigue, you're not gonna feel laziness, you're not gonna feel that you can't move, you're not gonna get the food coma that we usually get after food. You're gonna see a big difference. And I do not restrict any of my clients as a clinical dietitian. I do not, because I specialize in eating disorder, and I know restricting some people from things can lead to binging and lead to binge eating. So I do not restrict them from anything, including sambusa, especially in Ramadan, since it's the season of sambusa.
Yeah.
But I tell them, have it in that order, and they do that, and they're like, Hadil, we never felt better, we never felt less cravings, we never felt like we're productive after futur, and we never felt this energy after futur.
Yeah.
So do it in that way and you see a big difference.
Well, how many samosas do you recommend so somebody can eat?
Any snacks? How many amount of snacks?
I wouldn't say snacks, how many amounts of sambusa would you eat?
Okay.
I'll tell you. So with sambusa, every house cooks it differently. Some put it in the oven, some deeply fry it, some put it in air fryer, which is recommended. Every house is different, so it's about the amount of oils in it. So you can't judge and say a general recommendation have 3 sambusa because every house does it differently and the stuffing in each house is differently. So what I can say is go for 1/3 of your plate having it carbs, and if 1/3 of your plate you want to fill it with all sambusa, go ahead and fill it with all sambusa. If 1/3 of your plate you want to fill it with a bit of carbs from sambusa, a bit of carb from rice, a bit of carb from, let's say, yirish, you choose, but it should be 1/3 of your plate. And because you can take, let's say a house cooks their sambusa with oil, that's more calories from oil. If a house air fries their sambusa, that's less calories. So generally I would recommend 1/3 of the plate, and if the household deep fries it, you'll get more calories from oil, but at least it's within portions of 1/3 of your plate.
Yeah. Actually, my next question, I think it's a question which almost everyone has during Ramadan. What is a proper amount of water to drink during Ramadan? And also, is it a good idea to drink a lot of water during suhoor?
Okay, so it's not it's 2 liters like the daily recommendation. You have to fill it in within the hours that you're breaking your fast in, not like from since the second you break your fast till the second you hold your fast. You should drink 2 liters. But I don't recommend you to finish 2 liters at one sitting or 2 liters before you hold your fast. Some people don't drink all day and then suddenly before holding their fast, they finish the 2 liters. No, have it throughout your non-fasting hours.
Yeah.
Like break your first, number one and most important thing, when you break your fast, I never mentioned this, you have the order of food, the order of intake, but you should break your fast with water. Number one, you should break your fast with water.
Yeah.
Before the vegetables, before the fiber, with water. And then throughout your non-fasting hours, have up to 2 liters of water.
Okay.
Well, you know, some people like me usually don't eat breakfast, especially in school days. So like, is it bad for people skipping breakfast or is it like okay?
Okay, so that's for a non-Ramadan day when you have breakfast. When you have breakfast and skip it, it's not, like I said, with fasting, with Ramadan, it's not breakfast that's the most important meal. It's what enters on an empty stomach is the important thing. So if you're entering on an empty stomach your lunch meal, which is high in carbs, rice, chicken,
meat,
deeply fried foods, everything on an empty stomach, that will affect your entire day. With Ramadan, same thing. If you're entering on an empty stomach, something deeply fried, carbs, easy, simple starch, that will affect your entire day. But if you don't have a breakfast, but you break, the first thing you have is like, let's say 1 p.m. when you're back at home, and it's like something high in protein, good complex carbs, high in fiber, vegetable intake, that's okay. But I recommend, because you're going to school, you're expending some energy, you're using some energy, I recommend you to have this meal not at 1 p.m. but at an earlier timing. Same with Ramadan, don't break your fast at something that will affect you negatively for the rest of the day.
Okay. Well, my next question is actually because, you know, we children, we tend to be picky eaters. Some things we don't like, some things we like. I mean, I know I'm like that, and I'm sure most people are like that. So could you suggest an ideal meal for the children to have for iftar?
For iftar, as I said, that order is very important. Have your vegetables, have your soup, have your salad, have your plate of a balanced plate of the right amount of carbs, right amount of protein. I know as your age, you like more chicken nuggets, fries. Have it in portions, and have it in a better way. Instead of being deep fried, it could be air fried, it could be in the oven. Instead of being like frozen chicken, increased shelf life, which is more processed, have fresh chicken that is made like marinated at home, and have it in a better way. And I think this episode is ending, so we'll end the episode here. I love your question, girls. We'll have it in the next episode.
Welcome back, our dear friends. And now make sure that you have curiosity and imagination sitting next to you, because you're gonna use it a lot in this segment, which is the discussion segment. Are you guys ready?
Yes.
Let's go.
So, should I give it?
Yeah.
Who? Hassan. Okay, so let's see what we have to discuss.
Give it a
Let's
good
see.
warm up.
Give it a good. Okay, I'd like to totally turn it upside down. Hassan, you like the entire pot. Take your fill.
Hassan usually comes up with a great question. Let's see.
Same.
I'm gonna go for the last question.
Last one. Go ahead.
Okay.
I wonder what I got.
Thank you.
So you can see it now.
I wonder too.
Read it.
I like this question a lot.
Okay.
The importance of promises. Why is keeping our word important in friendships and family?
Can I go?
Oh,
Sure.
okay.
Well, because, you know, if you keep your word, if you promise somebody, they're gonna trust you more often. And, you know, if somebody trusts you, it's actually very good. And also, if you keep your promise, that's gonna get more confident for other people towards you, and you're gonna gain confidence also.
Well, I think that it's actually really good because it's not for others that you're being honest, but for yourself. Because if people can trust you, then they'll give you important things to do. Like for instance, once a person, he went to a merchant asking for a job. The merchant said, okay, I have to go somewhere, so just stay here. And then this guy just went and opened some random cupboard there. So merchant said, I can't give you a job, you're not trustworthy.
So what I have learned from you is that the more people trust you, the more opportunities you will have in the future.
Yes.
So my dear viewers, are you someone trustworthy or not? I believe you are trustworthy.
Okay, so this question actually reminds me of, you know, that famous quote from Shakespeare, The Merchant of Venice?
Yeah.
A word is a word and a promise is a promise. I love that. It's true, a promise is a promise and you must never break it. Because if you break a promise, it's very hard to build the trust back in. Let me just give you an example. Take a sheet of paper, a very clean sheet of paper that has no creases whatsoever. So a person's trust in you is like that, okay? It's just like that. There's no flaw whatsoever.
Okay.
Now you keep a promise and you break that promise. So just take the paper and just crush it all up into a ball. Okay, that's you breaking the promise. Open back the paper. How much ever you try, can you put those creases back into original shape?
You
It's
could
not gonna
iron
be
it.
clear as it used to
will
be.
never be. How much ever we try, at least at the end, at least a small crease will be left. A small dot in that person's mind will always remain. It's impossible to build a broken trust.
So dear friends, try to make your paper clean as well as your promises.
You actually remind me of something. Let's say you have a sheet of paper. You tear it. That's when you broke your promise. Could you put it back in?
It will be hard. Maybe like with the glue, but it's not gonna be stick as
Yeah.
it used to be. Okay, so Hassan, what do you think about promises?
Promises. The importance of promises. I think promises are very important to keep. So you shouldn't like break promises. Like, Rtag, I promise you I'll give you 1,000 dinar by the end of the week. But
Not promise.
You just said it.
That's just like a statement which obviously won't come true. Yeah, let's say fantasy.
Yeah.
In my opinion, I think whenever you want to promise someone, try to promise them with something within your own abilities, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Something you are
Totally.
capable of. So at the end of the day, you're not gonna break your promise. It's gonna help you to stick to your promise. What do you think?
Yes, I agree.
I agree.
So, getting back to your point.
Oh yeah. Okay. The importance of promises. You should keep your promise to someone you touch. You know what? I promise we will have fun today. But in reality, we won't have fun today.
Why? We are having fun.
We are.
Exactly.
Yeah.
No, I'm not like talking about today, like a different day where I said, Rtag, we're gonna have fun. And then we don't have fun.
You take her to clean a garage instead.
Yeah.
That's not fun.
That's definitely, I mean, it would be for a person who likes to see all the antiques inside
Wait,
the
wait,
garage.
Yeah.
I'm taking you to the mall.
Okay.
In reality, I don't take you.
Okay.
So you say words, but you don't
I'll
show
go.
actions.
I'll go to a mall, so keep your promise.
So in your
Only
opinion,
friend.
I'm taking you to the dentist instead.
I don't go.
Okay.
I'm happy. Don't worry about it.
so for our dear friends and imaginative ones who are watching us, okay, how can we help them to stay true to their promise?
Well,
Go. Okay, thank you. So, when they promise somebody, they make sure that they can like do this promise that they
promised.
they discussed with the
Okay,
other people.
nice. What
I
else?
think that just as Rima said, a person's trust in you is like a clean white sheet of paper. So we should always try to keep that sheet of paper clean no matter what. If we have a temptation to do something and in the process if we break a promise to someone, we should try not to do that. We should always resist the temptation no matter what.
I think something important here is we also have to learn how to say no, because sometimes you cannot really do it.
Yeah.
And it's
Yeah.
okay, right?
Like Ria said, we should keep our sheets of paper clean. So I'm just gonna step on this, act like I'm stepping on it, and now it's dirty. Do I put it in the pot now? No, I don't.
no.
So that's the point. You should keep your promises and not break them at all, because people will get heartbroken after that.
I totally agree with
Yeah.
you. If a person trusts you, it's really valuable. I think the best gift you can ever get from anyone in the world is their trust, because it's as valuable as gold. Just
Yeah, I
imagine, would
agree.
you ever lose something so expensive and valuable?
They'll always
You wouldn't.
give you the jobs. If you need something, they'll always give it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, promise is a great value. Are you someone who can fulfill your promise to other people or not? Try your best to fulfill your promise. If you cannot, just say no. Until next time, stay positive. See you later.